Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jared Powley's Fragrance Reviews. Tonight, we're going to be looking at a masterpiece, an absolute remarkable fragrance from the House of Creed, which is known as Bois du Portugal. I have not smelled this fragrance within the last several years, and I have recently smelled it, being today, and I have just been reminded of how incredible of a scent this is, and how this fragrance makes today's modern niche fragrances or designer fragrances look almost comedic and pathetic compared to Bois de Portugal. This fragrance, and like so many others from Creed, and this is what I would say is a trademark of Creed, there is a transparency to the fragrances of Creed, but there's also depth. So what that does is you can take in the scent without being suffocated. It doesn't ever become overbearing. And that is the hallmark of the greatest fragrances from Creed. This bottle here is several years old, and I realized that it possibly has gone through one reformulation because this came out in 1987. This is magic in a bottle. It is awesome at all levels, including performance. And before I continue with this fragrance review, I would like to say hi to a gentleman who I call the Fragrance Doctor, who has an incredible nose. He has an incredible collection. When we talk about fragrances, all of his selections are 9 or 10 out of 10s. Incredible knowledge of fragrances my one friend has. And I also want to give you a heads up. There's another review on this fragrance by my good buddy Vic from Bel Air Scents. He did a review on this about 9 months ago. And there's also a tribute to Frank Sinatra in this YouTube video, which is excellent and done very stylistically in a way that only Vic can do. So go check out Vic's video and his site at Bel Air Scents, because this is he gives you more of a historical account of Creed and Bois de Portugal. So I'm just going to give this a spray. This is a very expensive fragrance. That's the one thing that you cannot forget. This is not something that is $100. This is something that is $600. So I think it's worth it. So initially, you get this blast of penetrating kind of spicy citrus, and it's very fresh. It's tart, it's bitter, and it's herbal. As it starts to dry down, this has like what I would call double dry down. The first dry down, it becomes a little warmer and even more spicy, more powdery, but it has this grassy sweetness that's almost dewy, but not overly done. Later on, the second dry down, the development continues. It becomes woodier, more floral, still lavender, still bergamot, and it's still pushing. So it has great performance on my skin and also on my clothes. So I'm just going to list the notes. I do think there could possibly be 3 or 4 other notes that are not included in this note breakdown. But as advertised, the top notes, I've got varied accounts, but the top notes are bergamot, lavender, lemon, and lime. The mid notes are cedarwood and pine tree. The base notes are vetiver, ambergris, and sandalwood. Final thoughts on this remarkable fragrance. It is something that I think gentlemen, I'd say late 20s and up, can wear. And it's something that has, like I said, remarkable performance. And a lot of people say, well, it has an old man smell, a grandpa smell, it's dated. When I wore this fragrance today, I interact with about 6 or 7 gentlemen that are considerably younger than me. And they all thought it smelled fantastic. Nobody remarked that it was grandpa-like or dated or smelt like an old man. So there was great praise for this fragrance, and I have never understood why people would say that this is a dated or grandpa fragrance, because I don't get that at all. I'm not exactly sure what people mean by that. The one mistake I think people can make when they smell a fragrance, if you dig your nose and your skin, you're going to get a very different scent than the scent wafts around you. And how many people when they're around you are going to put their nose up to your neck or your skin? Almost nobody. So that's not really a valid way of analyzing a fragrance. The most proper way is maybe a foot away from your body or half an arm's distance, but no one's really ever going to get that close to put their nose on your skin. This fragrance, if it was cheaper, it would be a signature scent of mine. I consider this the best fragrance by Creed, and it's one of the best niche fragrances out there. But again, the main issue is the price. The price is very expensive. You would have to try before you buy. And I consider this a giant in the history of perfumery. And I think this is a timeless scent that decades and decades from now will still be worn. And I also would just like to note that this was a signature scent of Frank Sinatra in the 80s and 90s. So if you like this video, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Any comments, questions, or an experience you have with this remarkable fragrance, leave them down below, and I'll always get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.